Simply because you have a small online business doesn't mean that you're not held to the same requirements that bigger or brick and mortar businesses are held to. And not knowing isn't going to get you out of trouble when it comes for you. So stay with me and we'll go through all the stuff that you need to know about HR compliance for your online small business. There are a number of reasons to ignore the HR stuff in your business. It's actually one of the areas in your business that can easily be ignored. There's a lot to keep track of and do, but setting up simple, repeatable processes in your business, some of which you're probably already doing, can make it easy to stay out of trouble. You've probably been given some advice along the way as a business owner that you need to reach out to a lawyer for legal advice and possibly a financial advisor or tax accountant for tax and financial assistance so that you're not breaking law in those areas. But when was the last time, if ever, that someone gave you the advice to speak to an HR professional when it comes to HR compliance? I ask because these are the areas, employment laws and labor laws, that you may be in violation of. They're going to cost you the most time and money in terms of lawsuits, way more than anything that the tax or other legal issues that may come up are going to cost you. There are a few key areas in HR compliance that you want to be aware of, and we're going to go through those today. And then you can decide where you need to fill in the gaps for your business. The first is going to be registering your business. Now, technically, this isn't the HR compliance piece because you would need to register your business to be legal, right? That's the stuff that your lawyer will absolutely tell you. You also need to register in the state that you're in and where all of your employees are based, if that's different to the state where your business is headquartered, for workers' compensation insurance, as well as state unemployment. So these are two things that you need to do, both where your business is headquartered, whatever state that may be, and then whatever states you have employees in. The next thing is classification of your workers. I'm specifically talking about employees versus contractors. Now, typically we think of just that classification, employees versus contractors, although there are a number of other classifications, but we'll stick to employees and contractors right now. Within the employee space, there's non-exempt and exempt employees. And that's a bigger discussion for a later video that I'll talk about specifically around employees versus contractors. But for now, what I want you to know is it's not about hourly versus salaried employees. It's about whether or not the work that that employee is doing is a significant area of the business. Or do they have autonomy in their job? They're not necessarily assisting, they're managing a specific or significant area of business. So again, we'll get into that in a later video, but for now, I want you to be aware that we're talking about employees versus contractors and making sure that you classify your workers as correct is going to be key because wage and hour laws are going to be the biggest lawsuits that you will likely find in your business. The next big thing that you want to be aware of is employee handbooks. This looks like policies and procedures, things like leave, paid time off, both sick leave and annual or vacation leave. And based on where you're headquartered and where your employees are, the laws are going to be different in these areas. So you want to be making sure that you're checking based on where your employees and your business is on what the laws are. Another big area that you want to be focused on is onboarding your employees. Onboarding is the easiest place that you can get a lot of these things right, and it's the easiest place where you can get a lot of things wrong. There are a few documents and some paperwork that you need to collect from your new hire that you want to make sure that you have on file. Those are things like the W-4 for federal taxes, the Form I-9, which is the authorization to work in the United States, and then whatever state tax form is required. There may be other forms, but those are going to be the basics that you want to be thinking about. And then this is also a good time when you go over and review your employee handbook or just some policies that you have if you don't have a full-on handbook in the onboarding and orientation process. This is also a good time to talk about what performance and success looks like in your new team member's role. Performance management program or process is going to be key, not just so that you can be mindful of when you have issues with your employees, but also to tell your employees who are doing a great job that they're doing a great job. It's very easy to overlook great workers doing good work and not let them know that that's what's happening. But you want to make sure that you're telling them the great work that they're doing so that they continue to do what it is that they're doing and can move forward. That gives them incentive to stay with your company, engagement to stay involved, and allows for getting some of those items off of your CEO plate so you can focus on the strategic aspect of your business. The next big area is employee files and a document storage area for your team members. So remember when you worked in an office, if you did, and there was a lunchroom or a cafeteria and they had those laminated posters on the wall? Yeah, those are wage and hire posters that even in an online business, you need to have available for each of your employees. And again, those are going to be based on the states that your employees are working in. And it's very simple to do. You can either go to your state's government website and download online PDF versions of these posters. Or if you don't want to take the time to do that, there are a number of companies that will provide you every year what the updated posters are that you need to know in your business. They'll ask you a few questions. Where's your business located? Where do you have employees? And they'll make sure that you have the right posters every year. In addition to this document storage, you're also going to want to have an area where you're housing your employee handbook or policy documents so that employees can access those at any time that they have questions without having to ask someone to email that information to them. And then you're going to want to have files on each of your employees where you're going to put your performance paperwork, their onboarding and new hire paperwork, and be able to access those documents both when you need and then the information that they have access to that they need when they need it. In the next video, I'm going to talk specifically and more in depth about employees versus contractors. Because friend, there is a difference in the way you manage these resources in your business that you need to know about. Stay tuned.